Trade Genius.
What's up, everybody? Philip at Trade Genius. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and see where we're going over the next few days. So this is a daily chart on Bitcoin, and we are still in this sniper sell cycle. So the way I look at these signals, guys, is if we get the sniper buys to come in, for example, I'm looking for a cycle bottom. Now, you can make money immediately off when the signal fires usually, and like in this situation, you could take profits. If it comes back in, hits your trailing stop, which is normally how we trade these, then we're looking to see what happens. We didn't get a sell signal in this area, so we continue to assume this is like a cycle bottom, which ends up happening, and then we get a cycle top. No sell signal there because this is not just looking for price formation, it's looking at some other things too. So sometimes you don't get that signal on those tops. For chart clarity's sake, I'm just showing the sniper cells here. We do have our other indicators, though, that will come in on these types of things. But I'm showing you this because this indicator we're giving with the $3.99 package, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful. It works on all different time frames. Again, down here, bottom, sniper buy at the bottom. And then like up here, so I'm looking at this as a top cycle. So would not be surprised to see this price come down. Now, this is the daily chart. But wouldn't be surprised to see price come down and test this trend line. Now, this trend line broke to the upside, but it's been respected here, and been respected here. You notice that wick off of that, then it broke up, and then it's been kind of muddied in this area. But a lot of times what will happen is when you get away from it, you come down, a lot of times you will bounce off this level. So that's currently at 87.85, and then it goes down a few dollars a day. But that's this area, 8,700, 8,750, somewhere in that area. By the time this comes down there, I would look for a quick bounce off of that. Below that is the 200-day moving average, and that's at 81.72. There's nothing wrong with going down to those levels at all. It's just a matter of getting to a point where Bitcoin, I think, gets into a healthy consolidation, and then we start that grind, post-halving grind higher. A lot of things going on. For example, we're still tethered to the stock market. So if we look at that chart, there was some question as to maybe are we decoupling? And, the market was going sideways. This was a balance area, which we'll talk about in a little bit. In the stock market, blue line is the S&P 500. Here's Bitcoin chopping sideways as well. And then we start to lose it. Market starts to get weak, and then we see Bitcoin getting dragged down with it. So nothing's really changed. I think the correlation is still there. But what that tells you, though, is that investment grade money is into Bitcoin. So there's the upside to that as well. At some point, Bitcoin, it will, I think once all of this COVID and this market bearishness gets out of the system and things settle, that's when you're going to have a true market bottom. And I think you're going to see Bitcoin start to move away, much like gold did back in 2008 when that bottom into 2009 from the last recession. Pretty bizarre market. We've had basically a V-shaped recovery in the market, but not with the economy. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But there's a lot of very weird market. I think most guys that I know that have traded a long time, I know some people that have traded for decades, been on the floor of the stock exchanges, and this is some of the weirdest markets they've ever seen. So you are in uncharted territory as far as the moves, the volatility, lack of liquidity, and things like that. Moving into the Delta chart, we're in a zone where between this reading of 50 and 0, Bitcoin just kind of meanders. And obviously you've seen here, especially with the color changes, I haven't seen it this choppy in a long, long time. And we're kind of range bound in here. We poked up above 10 grand. That was kind of the market top actually on everything. And then big sell-offs ensued, dragging Bitcoin down with it. And again, we're in another chop range where you're getting a lot of candy striping, meaning one up bar, one down bar, one up bar, one down bar. So very choppy price action here. You can trade that on the 15-minute, which you'll see here. The sniper signals, again, they work really well on even short-term trading. So you leverage guys, you can take advantage of this, catching those cycle tops and bottoms. And then you can also drill down to a smaller time frame. If you're getting into the smaller choppier range, you can always drill down to a 5-minute and things like that to take advantage of stuff, because even these smaller moves can give you decent gains if you guys are doing the leverage thing. But back to the Delta. As far as Delta's concerned, we would basically look to fade any move to the 200 period, or the WMA averages. This one is our WMA 65. So if we get a pop up to that, that would actually be a level we'd look to short. I do think that the markets are a bit bearish at the moment, and we would be probably looking for more downside than upside at the moment. But again, for Bitcoin at this point in the cycle, that's not a bad thing. I think it's just healthy consolidation will ensue. But there's a lot of opportunities to take when we get into these cycle gyrations with these sniper cells, which, guys, if you're interested in that, this $3.99 package, head over to tradegenius.co or tradelikeagenius.com. And this package here, and that's going to give you the profit sniper, which is what I just showed you, or the trade sniper, and the blue ribbon indicator. The ribbon system, I won't get into it here because we have a large video series on how to do that. So you get free training on that as well if you get that system, all right? Okay, another chart I wanted to update you guys on was the capitulation chart. Now, this is, remember we talked about maybe looking at this to see if that was a bottom like we have here, but we'd have to wait a couple days. And so sure enough, we've rolled back over it. Now, these darker green circles means heads up, the bottom of the capitulation cycle might be in. This one backed off a la what we saw back here. And this cycle lasted from November to December, so about a month on this cycle. And so that's where we would look for, we started here May 25th. We are now in June 12th. So we're about halfway in that cycle. So this is where we would look to see if we can get a bottom in the capitulation cycle. So we don't know yet. This market's a little different. So we'll see. But again, this is the capitulation post-halving. This is where all your big gains come from. So any pullbacks in this market at this point are going to be where you get long Bitcoin for the long term, right? Never mind the shorter term trading, that's fine, but you're gonna the hodl stack, this is the spot, big time. This is one of the most important price areas for Bitcoin that you'll see in a very, very, very long time. Here's another one. This is a linear regression curve. And what you'll notice is that these levels are pretty reactive for the price of Bitcoin. If I zoom in here, you'll see that this recent pullback came right down to that level, right? So 91.34. So if we fall out of that level, just consider that long term that it's oversold, right? Anything below this level, this line, this 9,000 area, that's going to be largely a discount on the price of Bitcoin going forward. Again, we're looking at the longer term picture here, right? This chart is encompassing a long, many, many years, right? But that's where you want to accumulate Bitcoin. So if you've missed the boat on these different phases of the price of Bitcoin, obviously you want to get in on these levels right down here. So big picture, right? These are the levels you buy. Okay. So yes, I know we're up here at 8,000, but look, there's not a lot of Bitcoin left to be consumed, and that's just par for the course. So don't really think about it in that. Just think about it in terms of your price appreciation. You're going to get back to this median line, which is up here at 25,000 to 30,000, depending where you intersect it at. We're going to get back to that. That's just the odds on that are extremely high. Okay. On the very top of the channel, we're up to the 89,000 area. So, typically you see that post-halving. Let's just say, this area here up here, you're looking at six figures, $130,000 to $150,000 or so. All right. So a lot of upside potential, less in percentage terms, but much larger in dollar terms. Okay. There's nothing going forward over the next couple of years that are going to see the price appreciation of Bitcoin. It's just not going to happen. All right, S&P 500. So what was interesting is we got into this huge balance area, right? Like for a month. Every time we would look like we were falling off a cliff, boom, they'd come in and save it. All of the cycling was saying that we're probably going to roll over. When these sells come in, that's basically telling you heads up on a cycle top. Slingshot sell usually sees some down move. When these sells came in, you had a red day the following day, right? You see that. Except for like this day was firing on a red day, and then it gapped lower actually. So you could have taken these are decent for end of day trades. You can take an end of day sale. And when it gaps open lower, you can take profit. When the slingshot fired and then didn't really go down and actually gapped higher 2 days later. See, this slingshot fired here and gap lower. When I see stuff like that, that's usually indicative that we're going to go higher. And I really do believe this is a blow off top here on this. I mean, everything was so utterly overbought up here. It wasn't even funny. The problem is just like, you at that point, you don't know where it's going to stop because you got Fed putting money in the system. They're blaming retail on this. I don't know about that. That's a lot of market move for retail. I will say again, overnight, they move the market up, and they can do that a lot cheaper because of the low volume overnight. And then you open the next day and all of your stock portfolios are magically higher without having to spend all that money that you do during the day, during the regular market hours. So it's there's some games being played in that regard. So they could fight, you could see where you gap up in the overnight and the regular trading hours, the banks and stuff are taking profit. And so there could be that game too being played. But We are overbought. This is overextended. We have gotten this gap down, which is very bearish on a very red candle, akin to what we saw at the previous market top. Gap down, large red candle. So what we want to see is, do we get any kind of follow through? If we gap down again come Monday morning, I think that's going to give you a heads up that we might visit some of these lower fib levels. We bounced off the 236. We might visit the 382 at 28.31. Or the 50% fib at 27.10. Those will probably see decent bounces. If they don't see bounces, then that's telling you that we're getting another cascading event, probably with longer term sellers getting back out of the market if they didn't get out back here. A lot of funds missed this move up, and I think they'll be looking for maybe dipping their toes on the way down. So we probably could see less likelihood of this kind of market drop, but a more sustained move, albeit it could go lower, but not as this accelerated move down and where it's just panic selling. So I think because the funds might be looking to leg in to this market more aggressively than they were back here is why I say that. So this is important because this is also going to affect the price of Bitcoin until Bitcoin decouples. But as you can see, this third leg down should have happened somewhere in here. That would have been akin to the 2008. So this got overextended, got over its skis. Now let's see what this does and how it reacts to these fib levels, okay? And look for Bitcoin to respond in kind. All right, guys, that's it for this video. That's the outlook. Again, if you're interested in the Trade Sniper indicators, head over to tradelikeagenius.com or tradegenius.co. Also, that is bundled with the room access. That's for a year, guys, so very economical. And if you're in lockdown, good opportunity to learn how to do this system and eke out those ways of making side money off the market. Guys, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.